We've been making steel in Youngstown for more than a century. The huge furnaces provided more than just a paycheck to the steel workers whose sweat and blood built this valley. Steel meant prosperity. City budgets were bulging. Youngstown was the only city of its size to have 2 major department stores inside its city limits. The valley had the highest rate of home ownership in the nation. But more than prosperity, steel meant hope for our children.
It meant that men and women who weren't privileged enough to perhaps even complete a high school education were able to send their sons and daughters to get their college degree, and you could look forward to each generation being a little better off than the prior generation. Now that is a theory in serious question today.
But in 1977, the glow of the furnaces had already begun to dim. The 50,000 steel jobs in the valley from post-World War II had shrunk to 30,000. Steel companies were being merged. The local mills were antiquated compared to the new modern facilities overseas, which were taking an ever-increasing share of the international market. But instead of limiting imports, our government made it even more costly for American companies to compete by imposing stricter air and water pollution standards. We should have been prepared. The warning signs were clear. We chose to ignore them.
If you work in a steel mill, you have to really be there to understand. You look at everything around you and say, this is too big. You know, they can't shut this down. The belief was there because at union meetings, the president and people would tell us, you know, this could happen. But the workers went, you're BS or something like that. You know, it can't happen.
Jack Hunter, then the mayor, had just been released from the hospital when he and other public officials were summoned to JNL headquarters.
There's speculation, what's it about? Is it going to be a major reinvestment in the valley? Which I would have liked to have believed, but I had followed that too closely to know better than that. So, you know, I knew it was going to be bad news, and the question was just how bad a news would it be? Would it be half the workforce? But it turned out it was the whole workforce.
This action relates to our need to generate cash if environmental requirements for capital expenditures keep growing as they are and are expanded beyond what we even know now. The amount of funds that will take out of the mainstream of our operations are going to cause a further hardship down the road without any question.
It was a Monday in mid-September. They closed the steel mill down. 5,000 workers lost their jobs. A crisis hit Youngstown. And the biggest reason was the Lakes Corporation bought the mill in '69.
It was strictly a banking decision, an accounting decision. The bottom line was bucks, and the bottom line was shut them down. We can make more money someplace else.
Not totally, but part of the blame is that we priced American steel out of the international market, and that's because the unions asked for too much and management made the same mistake of giving them too much.
And I don't think it was the union's fault. I think it's a whole attitude of the country on what they want to be, is what's their priorities. And it wasn't steel. There is no steel policy, still isn't.
First thing that hit you was disbelief. Well, now this can't be happening. And then it turned from the disbelief part to anger.